My name is Angela Fleming. I teach language arts at North Rowan Middle School, which is part of the Rowan-Salisbury school system, to the most incredible students that you could ever meet. My teaching philosophy is to believe in each and every one of my students, to build connections with them, to make them feel safe and welcome in my classroom, and to challenge them to solve problems, create solutions, and to achieve more than they ever dreamed possible. My students have never let me down, not one time. Each day, I hope it is for them, because it certainly is for me, is an adventure. Walk in my classroom and there's just all kinds of possibilities for our learning. And we're part of a big family. I guess my personalized learning, it started with just basic choice projects. So I'd have an assignment where they would have 2 or 3 different options. And one of my students asked me, well, Mrs. Fleming, could I try this? And my answer was, tell me more about it, and then yes. And the student was very successful with it, which then encouraged other students. It helped them step out of their comfort zone so they could try new things and be successful. Now keep in mind, each student is not always successful with a new idea or a new project. But failure is good too, that's how we learn. I certainly fail at things. This is, let's see, I think attempt number 19 on making this video. But my students know it's okay to try. They're encouraged to try new things. This lets them pull on strengths they already have, like art or music. It also allows them to try something new that they never thought of before. They learn to work individually, in groups, and as a whole class. And they just we started developing more and more projects. And this became well known through newspaper articles and some different showcases we would do at our school. This then led to district challenges. For example, a couple of years ago, the assistant superintendent called me on a snow day. She had a challenge for my students. Our district holds a yearly literacy summit that's open to about 150 school and district leaders, community members, and it's all about promoting literacy. In the past, they'd always had a keynote speaker come and open this presentation, and they wanted to try something different. They wanted to hear the voices of students. So her 2 prompts, her 2 requirements were that it needed to stress the importance of literacy and for my students to explain why it was so important to involve community members. So I presented this the following day to my students, who were very, very excited. But they wanted, not me, they wanted it to be more than an expected keynote and speeches. They wanted to do something that would just wow everyone, and they did. They created a living wax museum of historical and influential people who explaining why literacy was so important to them. They took one of Nelson Mandela's raps from Hamilton and they turned it into this whole literacy rap that everyone in the class participated in. They had a closing speech about how to hook those community members, and then they led roundtable discussions with everyone there on how they could get involved. They were absolutely unbelievable with this. They wowed everyone, including myself, I think including themselves. A number of my students were not sure about this in the beginning. They were like, I don't want to have to speak in front of 150 people, Mrs. Fleming. Please, I really want to help, but can it be with some other piece of it? I told them that was fine, but to my delight and what I was hoping for was, and this had one holdout, so it was the week before our presentation, each and every one of my students wanted a speaking part. Their diligence also stood out to me. They gave up morning club time and free lunch times. They stayed after school. They worked tirelessly on creating this performance. And it was incredible. They got asked to present at 6 other community events, and it pulled our whole class together, which really unified in my mind the importance of our projects and what we can do with those. We got more and more district challenges. My students they came up with their own challenges. For example, about 1.5 years ago, one of my 6th graders, she came up with an idea in an essay that she was writing about national parks to create a program called Nature's Children that would give students the opportunity to visit major parks and experience nature firsthand. We made her dream a reality. This was so exciting. She piloted this, but the whole class jumped on board. They mentored an elementary school class. We got to visit Pilot Mountain State Park last year. We are visiting a national park this year, which was her original dream, Great Smoky Mountains National Park. They've been publicized in the newspaper. They've done presentations. They've been publicized nationally by Achieve 3000. It was an incredible experience for all of us. This has led to my students working in groups or as whole classes, presenting at district and state levels, sharing their ideas, marketing our county, and they gain in their confidence and in their speaking and leadership abilities, and they share their voices with adult leaders in our country. And this is so important because if it's their education, they need to have a voice too. They need to be involved. I have the most incredible families that fully support us. I truly believe in building relationships with my families as well. They help in their support, all these different projects that we do, whether it's picking their children up from endless practices, signing permission forms, helping them get ready. They are wonderful. We're all a big family together that works together. As far as one of my major obstacles, it was probably more in the beginning when we were first starting the projects. I was challenged with, was I really teaching my students standards? Was I preparing them for those end of grade tests? Didn't I need to be doing more routine lessons with the multiple choice questions? And my response was no. They were learning even more than those tests required, because for all these projects, they have to read and to research. We write endlessly, just ask my students. And they were learning the speaking and listening skills, leadership skills that would prepare them for their future. And this has been the whole trend that our district has gone towards, and I'm so happy to see that. And my students are innovative leaders for this. They set examples, and I wish you could see how their confidence has grown on a daily basis as we're doing all of this. I invite you to come visit my classes at any point in time and get to know my students and discover firsthand how incredible they are.